The BBC is forced to apologise to the Queen.
A promotional video implied she'd stormed out of a photo shoot.
Less dressy, because the garter robe is so extraordinary.
Dressy? What do you think this is?
This is the point the BBC claims she walked out. In fact, it shows her walking in. The BBC has been forced to apologise to the Queen after producing a documentary trail which suggested she walked out of a photo shoot after a row with the celebrity photographer Annie Leibowitz.
The promotional video was shown to newspaper journalists and appeared on many front pages this morning. In fact, the pictures that were used are of the Queen walking in for the session, not walking out in anger. Here's Razia Iqbal.
This is the promotional footage the BBC showed to journalists yesterday. A fly-on-the-wall documentary about the Queen. A highlight was an exchange with the celebrity photographer Annie Leibowitz.
I think it will look better without the crown. Less dressy, because the garter robe is so extraordinary.
Dressy? What do you think this is? I'm not changing anything. I've done enough dressing like this. Thank you very much.
And that exchange gave the tabloid headline writers a dream of a story. Thrown a wobbler. The day the Queen snapped, the Queen stomps out of photo shoot. It's an image that goes completely against how the public perceives Her Majesty.
This footage that we were shown yesterday was quite dramatic, it was very funny, and it showed the Queen in a new light. But we found out today that this isn't actually how it happened. It was quite different. So this is quite embarrassing for the BBC. It was a good story yesterday. It's going to turn out to be quite a negative story for them tomorrow.
So what did happen? It was an issue of the sequence of events. The first frame showed the Queen contesting what the photographer suggested. The second frame, which showed the Queen walking out, saying she's changing nothing, was in fact a shot of the Queen walking into the photo shoot and not storming out. The BBC said today that the trailer shown was a sequence which implies the Queen left a sitting prematurely. This was not the case, and the actual sequence of events was misrepresented. The statement goes on to say that the BBC would like to apologise to both the Queen and to Annie Leibowitz for any upset this may have caused. The apology was quick in coming and perhaps not surprising given the issues of audience trust and confidence in broadcasters.
Coming so soon after the fine over Blue Peter, you would think somebody at the BBC might have thought this was a rather sensitive subject and might have been more careful and might have foreseen a possible row by feeding all this material to the tabloids, who accepted it with the greatest glee.
This is a hugely embarrassing affair for the BBC, and while it's been quick to minimise the damage there has been, which will no doubt prompt a great deal of internal soul-searching.
And we can talk to Razia now. Razia, this is an awkward time for all broadcasters, I mean, not just the BBC.
Absolutely, George. I mean, it's incredibly embarrassing. The BBC only this week was fined £50,000. The first time that Ofcom have sanctioned the BBC for that Blue Peter programme in November 2006, which was to do with faking a competition winner. And all broadcasters are really aware of this issue, particularly to do with premium telephone line activity and competitions. So they're all aware of it, and it all comes under the umbrella of trust and the audience's trust in broadcasters. So yes, a hugely embarrassing time and very awkward for the BBC in particular in the light of what's happened this week. Also, I think the other point to make is that broadcasters on the whole feel that they really are up against it in terms of pressure to compete for audiences. So when they launch their highlights for the next season, they all want to try and do the best. And clearly this is something that's happened this time. In trying to highlight something that they think was a real scoop, they've not really looked carefully enough at what they were showing, what they were trying to highlight.
So, Razia, what reaction has there been from the BBC today?
Well, we've just heard that Peter Fincham, the controller of BBC One, has said that the first he saw of the promotional clip was what he showed yesterday, and this was promotional material given by RDF, the company that actually made the documentary. So that's quite interesting in itself, that the BBC, although had edited this, the controller of BBC One says that was the first that he saw of it yesterday.
All right, Razia, thank you.
Recently